Defending Trump's intervention in Venezuela, 7 arguments nobody wants to make. Trump's intervention is being called illegal, immoral, imperialist. And maybe it was all 3. But what if the real failure didn't happen this year? What if it happened years ago, when the world gritted toe to do nothing? This video isn't about cheering intervention or war. It's about explaining why serious historians and strategists defend it. Not because it was ideal, but because the alternatives failed. Argument 1. Sovereignty is not sacred. International law treats sovereignty as sacred. History does not. A state earns sovereignty by doing 3 things: controlling its territory, enforcing law, and governing its people. By the time of the intervention, Venezuela had lost all 3. Large areas weren't governed by the state at all. They were controlled by armed groups, criminal networks, and traffickers. Millions of Venezuelans didn't flee by accident. They voted with their feet. From this perspective, sovereignty wasn't violated. It had already collapsed. Argument 2. The narco-state. Defenders of the intervention don't argue Venezuela was just corrupt. They argue it became structurally criminalized. Drug trafficking didn't happen despite the state. It happened through it. History shows something uncomfortable. Narco-states don't reform quietly. They export violence, organized crime, instability, and mass migration. Left alone, they don't stabilize. They entrench. From this view, intervention wasn't reckless. It was delayed containment. Argument 3. The moral cost of doing nothing. Inaction has victims. Critics say intervention is immoral. Defenders ask a harder question: immoral compared to what? Sanctions didn't free Venezuelans. They hollowed out daily life. Diplomacy didn't weaken the regime. It normalized it. Non-intervention didn't prevent suffering. It made it slower, quieter, and easier to ignore. Inaction wasn't neutral. It was a choice, with consequences. Argument 4. The hypocrisy problem. Clean hands, dirty outcomes. Western governments interfere constantly, just not with soldiers. They use policies such as sanctions, asset seizures, and financial isolation. These measures reshape countries, often brutally, without accountability or resolution. So defenders ask, why is economic warfare acceptable, but decisive force taboo? They argue this isn't moral restraint. It's moral outsourcing. We accept the damage as long as we don't have to watch it. Argument 5. Empire. Denied or managed. Power vacuums don't stay empty. Here's the argument critics hate most. The United States already behaves like an empire. The question isn't whether it wields power, it's whether it does so reluctantly, inconsistently, or responsibly. Power vacuums never stay empty. If the US doesn't shape outcomes, others will, such as criminal networks, regional strongmen, or rival powers. From this view, temporary administration isn't colonialism. It's damage control. The real fantasy is believing chaos governs itself. Argument 6. But what about Iraq? Every defense must face this. Yes, Iraq failed. But defenders argue it failed because responsibility was abandoned, not because intervention happened. The lesson wasn't never intervene. It was never intervene half-heartedly. Half measures create disasters. Commitment prevents them. Argument 7. The Ferguson view. Historians like Niall Ferguson make a bleak point. Law doesn't create order. Order creates law. And when states collapse, someone must decide whether to step in or live with the consequences of pretending it isn't their problem. Conclusion. Defending the invasion of Venezuela doesn't require celebration. It requires realism. In a world of failed states, criminal regimes, and mass migration, the greatest moral comfort often belongs to those who do nothing. History doesn't punish the use of power. It punishes those who refuse responsibility for the power they already have.